me to school. What makes a great company? So you've done all this research.
Yep.
You've learned all these different points of view.
Yep.
Imitation is the highest form of flattery.
Yeah.
You could have just copied something.
Yeah.
But instead, you formed your own view of the market, the world, the great companies. I watch your stuff on Instagram, and you're like, I'll be talking about which stocks to invest in to, beat the market and 20% and all that. Obviously, you're not a financial advisor, but as a businessman, what thesis have you developed that makes a great company these days?
So there's a few things. One is, for sure, it starts at the bottom with management's ability to position themselves in a marketplace where they have this moat around them, right? So when I look at companies like Netflix, so one of the things I said about this brand was I said, okay, they're the leader in the streaming industry. And so I asked myself, how can a company change the game for everybody else around them? So what they did was they saw everyone was scared of streaming because they didn't believe in it at one point in time, right? And then they saw where Netflix was just dominating the market space. And so companies like Disney and all these other companies pulled all this stuff and they started to do their own thing. But they didn't realize how much money it takes to produce content. They left that part out. And so Netflix changed the game because Netflix said, okay, we're not going to value a company by how many subscribers it has. Because at one point in time, that's all they base streaming companies on.
Yep.
Netflix said, okay, now we're the only profitable streaming company. Now show us how much it is costing you to acquire those streamers and how much it's costing you to produce the content. And so now all these streaming companies had to show Disney was losing $1 billion a quarter trying to keep up with Netflix, Hulu, Amazon. Now Amazon had a great proposition because they were able to say, we are streaming, we do have streaming, but this is not what Prime is about. Prime is about next day delivery, right? And so they bolted on the streaming business with the next day delivery so they didn't have to produce the same type of results everybody else had, right? And so when I look at a great company is how can you position yourself in the marketplace and change the rules for everybody else while maintaining a great balance sheet and a great competitive advantage.
Did you know Blockbuster was this close to buying Netflix for like $50 million?
Yeah, $50 million.
And then their board said, nah.
And we call
because
that
we can do it ourselves.
Companies that fail to innovate. If you cannot, and so that's what I look at now too, is how fast can you innovate and market to your company? Because now attention is the thing now, right? And so how can you innovate and grab attention faster than everyone else, right? So for me, those are, just surface level innovation, market share, dominance. Of course, we go to the fundamentals, great balance sheet, income statement, but I like pricing power.
Wait, time out. You said of course.
Yeah.
I reject that.
Okay.
Because it's not of course. I talk about on this podcast a lot. Like, I just recently went back to school. I meant SME in the executive MBA program.
Come on.
I know financial statements, but I've never had them.
Okay.
P&L, profit and loss. It's just like, we made this, we lost that, we're whatever. It's like, no, there's more to it. It's like income statement. Oh, I just made this. Like, no, there's more to it.
Yeah.
Balance sheet. It's just this.
Yeah.
So when you say, of course, like, I get what you're saying, but the reality is, it's not, of course. It's not until you have a slap in the face of, hey, Mr. Investor, do you invest in my company?
Most
like,
people
show me all
don't
this
know what
stuff.
a balance sheet truly is.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. So like, of course to you now.
Yeah.
But
I get it.
But not necessarily to, because this thing is like, through this journey of this podcast and my education and just trying to get out of the real estate bubble, and I talk about that a lot, about how when you're in real estate investing, you're in this little bubble and you don't really look at continuing education. You don't look at chamber events. You just look at our masterminds, our networking, and the next deal. Mm-hmm. But the reality is, outside the bubble, there's this other world where it's like, hey, are you doing cash accounting or accrual accounting? Huh? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Well, do you want to exit? Exit from what?
Yeah.
So people aren't necessarily building businesses. They're just building the next house.
So I had to learn
if
that.
That makes
too.
sense.
No,
Sorry
I had
for
to
my
learn
rant.
that. One of the great things about the stock market was I didn't realize this till maybe 2 years ago, that I actually could build my business on the same principles. I didn't realize it. So we'll go a little further. So a great company has pricing power, right? So pricing power is the ability to increase the prices of your products and not lose a consumer. Right.
That's huge.
So that, I was like, okay, this is good. And so you watch companies like Apple, you watch companies like Amazon increase prices sometimes twice a year and gain more consumers. For me, another thing is a company that has great net margins, right? And so that is when the company brings in revenue, how much of that revenue transitions into profit. So for me, I like a company that can have anywhere between 15% net margins or more. That means 15% of every dollar is coming back in profit. So those are the things that show me that this company is a great company. Another thing is return on invested capital, right? How can a company take capital, put it out into the marketplace and get a great return on it? For me, anything more than 15. That shows me that the company is good at producing money, the company is good at investing money, and the company is good at producing great margins. You combine that with pricing power, you probably got a company that's going to be around for the next 10, 15 years.
Dude,
Right.
cut that shit out. Put it online, right? Because, but no, it's like it's every principle in business boiled down into a very simple statement, Leon. I mean, you just said, do your customers like your product enough that you can change it? You can raise the price if you need to.
Yep.
Like it really speaks to the quality of the product.
The product,
right?
yep.
And then you just said, can they manage the business
Yep.
to where it's profitable?
Yep.
Right? We're not just producing revenue to produce revenue.
100%.
And then number 3, once they make money, are they good stewards of the money?
Yep.
Are you being biblical on me here?
Yeah, come on, man. You know that's my principles. You know that's my principles, man.
Going back to the game aspect, everything that you were just saying, like those are fundamentals.
Yep.
Like, Ray Dalio, fundamentals, principles, whatever he calls it. And it's just like, and then my little rant about, it's not, of course, this is all stuff that you have to learn.
Sure.
It's like those are aspects to that game you're talking
Yes.
about. And those lessons you have to learn or I don't know, yes, become an expert in everything that you just spoke about in order to play the game.
Hey, I hope you liked today's episode. Subscribe to get alerts when there's new episodes.